Birdie Fab Winter Storm 2015 Snowmageddon edition. You can see the remnants here. We got like 2 inches of snow, and if you're okay, west central Georgia, we don't see this too much, but if any of you guys are in other parts of the country that get snow, you probably heard about people in the South buying out all the bread and milk. That's a thing. I don't know why, but it is. There's like literally only half gallons of skim milk and like 2 half gallons of chocolate milk at the closest grocery store. So I don't know. But anyway, here we are, 2017 4Runner. We're going to do an oil change, but primarily there's apparently an issue with these and Tacomas, I guess, with the bolts that hold the skid plates up being problematic. So sometimes the tack welded nuts break loose from the tubes. Sometimes the bolts break off in the nuts, and in this case, it's the bolts that have broken off in the nut. And so temporarily what I did was drill out the bolt enough to stick a nut in there, and then stick a bolt in there and then the nut over the top, and it's loose and kind of cantankerous, and you got to know what you're dealing with to take the skid plates off. So what we're going to do today is get some riv nuts installed, see how that goes, and hopefully, normal people who aren't accustomed to things being rigged will be able to take the skid plate off. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. Here we are underneath. The drain plug on the little oil pan is a 14 millimeter, so pull that, and up here is where those skid plate bolts, so those are the ones that I had in my toolbox that we made work. See, maybe you can see, yeah, see that, how that nut stacked up there, and the old nut is still in there too. So when we come in with the riv nut, we have to get a chisel or a screwdriver or something and hit that with a hammer, see if we can get loose. Same deal over here, same situation. Ones up front, or I don't know, we'll have to examine that when it comes loose, because I don't remember if it's a rigid piece of metal or what's the deal with that. But I did replace all 4 of these bolts, so when we get this down in a second, you got to pull it to get to the oil filter. So I'm going to go ahead and drain the oil pan right now, and then I will go ahead and pull these out, and we'll check back in once the skid plate's down. Here's something. I waited till this portion of the video for my this isn't an American car rant. So here's the deal. So this is like an American style oil filter. No commentary on Fram. I used to run Fram all the time, and then kind of went back to AC Delco because America, much like I used to use Castrol GTX because of John Force. There's a short about that if you're curious. But here's the deal. So Wicks, started buying Wicks because of Vice Grip Garage. Just being honest, he got me. I actually started going to O'Reilly because of Vice Grip Garage. But anyway, so here's how the filter works in this thing. So some O-rings come with it, and this little thing, which is disposable, and we'll talk about that in a minute, and then this filter. So for some reason people call this a canister filter. I don't get it because there's no canister, right? So like this is a canister. I would call this a canister filter, and this like an element filter or something. I don't know. But anyway, people call it canister filter. So here we are. So the process is there's a cap, large cap over the portion where the filter goes, oil filter adapter, whatever you call it. Then there's a metal plug at the bottom of that. You'll see all that in a minute when we go back under. But first steps, pull that metal plug out. There's an O-ring in there. And then you take this thing, because there's like a check ball valve kind of rig. So you pull that metal plug out, snap this thing up, and then the oil drains out of that adapter. And one of these O-rings goes back on that metal plug. And then there's a special wrench that you take the housing off cover. It's over here, like magic, it appears. You could probably use a strap wrench or something. I don't know, but it was cheap on Amazon, so I got it. Try to do the right thing sometimes. And so then you pull that thing down, take the old filter element out, new filter element in, and just reverse from there. So that's the deal. All right, let's get back under it. So here we are, back underneath. This is that metal cover I was telling you about. It's just takes a 3/8 drive ratchet to pull that. So I'm going to get that taken off. There's not going to be a lot of oil under this because it's got that check ball assembly in there, check valve, whatever that is. So get this guy pulled off, and then then get the housing, this housing drained, and then that housing cover, and then the filter and all will come out. So I don't know. I'm going to try to position this camera somehow you can see it, but it's kind of hard. So let me work on that. I'll be right back. All right. That's that. That's one of, hey, still made it. That's one of those O-rings we're going to replace in a second. And all right, so now I need that plastic, the draining thing. And here's where I'm probably going to get oil all down my sleeve. Yep, just like that, all over the place. All right, let's try to reposition. All right, whatever. I'm about to throw this into the driveway. There we go. It just needed to be threatened. Sometimes that is all you need. A little anger. So it's pretty much drained. I mean, a lot more is probably going to come out when I pull that housing cover, but for now I'm going to just grab this and see if I can get it off, and there we go. Now we'll work on that. Get this housing cover off. I don't want to use impact on this because it's plastic, but I will if I have to. Don't get it twisted. All right. It is pretty tight. Let's give it a shot. All right. right, there we are. Old element and O-ring is here on this housing, so got to get that. May need a little pick for that. I can't, my fingernail's not getting it. Yeah, grab a pick right quick. All right, got a pick. Here we go. So that O-ring's off. Get the new one. Yeah, just gonna get a little oil on this. It's because it seems like the right thing to do. Pull that back in the groove. All right. So go ahead and put the new filter in. All right. New filter in. Okay. Yes. All right. All right. Go ahead and throw that other O-ring in. That goes up in here. Thread this cover back in. Plug. And all right, get everything cleaned up here. Be back up at the top to refill, and then we'll move on to the riv nut skid plate repair. So here we are back up top. This calls for 0W20 because foreign, I guess, I don't know. And so the capacity with oil filter change is 6.6 quarts. So we're gonna throw a 5 quart in and a single, and then a little bit more than half of another single, and call it good. So here we are again, back under. Here's the thing. So I don't know, I don't feel like, I'm probably not off the ground enough to get the riv nut setter tool in here without jacking it up some more. And I think it might be easier just to pull these brackets and work on them outside the vehicle. So that's what I'm going to do. It looks like we just got 3 bolts here. They're all 14 millimeter. Pull these 3 bolts and this bracket will come off, and that way I can have some room to get, you know, down in there and get at it a little better than what we've got working here. So this hole is how the skid plate was mounted when first time I saw this vehicle. It was just kind of drilled and self-tappers in there. So the nuts and bolts were a more solid option than what was there before, but hopefully with the riv nuts will just make it easier for the future, so you don't have to worry about anything squirrely. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try to pull these bolts and we'll see how that goes. Take one. So after some mild drama, we got both of these off. Yeah, you can see again kind of down in the hole where that nut is, and so we got to get that nut out of there. We'll try. I think a chisel, I don't know, could cut it off with a reciprocating saw maybe. I don't have one of those like multi-vibrating multi-tool things, so I don't know. Maybe we can get in there with a screwdriver and hit it a couple of good times, because it's just tacked in a couple of spots. It doesn't look like it's welded all the way around, so it's probably not going to be easy, but we'll bang on it for a little bit and see where we get. That wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But so the nuts are out, and they were just welded on the corners or tacked on the corners, and so just got hit them with a chisel 3 or 4 times. They pop loose. So now what we're going to do, I guess it's M8 is the size here for the riv nuts that people were recommending, M8. So, which makes sense because it is a little bit bigger than the factory size hole. So we got to drill this hole out to fit this M8 riv nut, and then figure out what size this is, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how the tool works. I don't know what size this is, and it's not quite big enough. So got it drilled out, had to, you know, hog it out a little bit, but you can see how it's sitting. So now what we've got to do is take our tool here. Now look, I know that you can do this without a tool. I've seen how people do it. It was like, I don't know, I needed to buy riv nuts anyway, and the kit it cost like 15 bucks or whatever for this tool, so I figured it was worth it. The whole package is not 15, it was like 30 bucks, okay, for the whole package, but it comes with all this stuff, and anyway, whatever. I know you don't need a tool, but I got one. So here's what the plan is. I've already got the mandrel in here, or whatever they call it, for the M8 size. And so we open it all the way up and thread the tool in to the, came out, okay. Thread the tool in all the way. And all right, so tool's in all the way, and you want to maintain downward pressure while you're doing this. And so try to get in here. So what you should see, and this may be a failure, but what you should see is that riv nut collapsing as I squeeze. And it's taking a little more pressure than I thought it was, but here we go. All right, I'm gonna reposition here. Okay. Is it doing anything at all? Because I think I about broke my sternum just then. Okay, try it again. I was serious, by the way. Nope. Okay.
You need me to do it?
Yeah, let's get some extra hands on here. All right. Give it a shot. See what you can do. See? Okay. Let's do some figuring. All right, so I don't know. Apparently there's something about the depth that you have the thing threaded in. I don't know. Anyway, it did collapse. It did do what it was supposed to do. You can, I don't know if you can see. It's going to be hard to see. But you see what this was before and this is after. So you see that I was hoping that you'd be able to see it on camera, but I don't know again, but the depth, you can see the length difference between the two. So you see all this knurling, and then in there, the knurling is all collapsed up against the inside. So that is what it's supposed to do. So yeah, should be good with this one. Let's see. I got some new bolts. Let's see. I got some M10s just in case things got squirrely. Okay. So this is 1.5. This is a M8 1.25 by 30 millimeter bolt. And then I got some washers in here too, but so that should thread right up in there. There it is. May need to help it out some because it got squished. You know, it's turning by hand. It's taking a little bit of force, but it's turning by hand. So definitely with a wrench or ratchet on it, it'll go right up in there, and it's in there tight. So I think we're good to go. We'll go ahead and get the rest of these done with hopefully no skeletal issues. And that did kind of hurt. So yeah, I'm going to do these two on these brackets and then look at the ones in the skid plate, which will be significantly easier. Anticipate. Probably shouldn't have said that, but all right, we'll see how it goes. All right, make sure you're pushing up while you're squeezing. Okay. Unscrew.
Just got a little more, doesn't it?
Got these done. Took a little grinding, and but it worked out. It threaded in fine, no problem. I'm gonna hit this stuff with some paint just for some rust preventative, and we'll go ahead and get it buttoned back up. Skid plate going back in. You got to move this plastic trim piece. It goes underneath it, and then it's got these little fingers that engage the front of the radiator support. So it's kind of tricky to get in. Well, I said it was tricky, and there we are. See. First try. All right, so let's get our new bolts and nuts. Washers. Hang on, let me get these back ones started first, and then we'll move up to the front. All right. All right, let's check these front ones. All right. Not want to put a lot of torque on them, but it's snugged up good. Yep, not moving. All right. I think we're good to go.